Okay, so something that our rocket is missing is a porthole. So right now, this could just as easily be a missile as a rocket. So let's give it a feature that will say clearly that this is not a missile, that this is a rocket. Let's make a porthole because you don't have portholes on missiles. So this to make a porthole, I'm going to select this cylinder here, and we will build it from that. And this will be a quick and easy one. So we're going to take a slightly different, quicker modeling approach. So instead of working with the polycylinder and adjusting the height and all that, we'll just do it with the scale tool. So this can be problematic for certain types of modeling, but for the porthole, it won't be an issue at all because we're editing the scale. Sometimes when you're editing the scale and you have to work with a hierarchy and stuff, if this had children, it would be a problem. But it's not, so it'll work for this scenario. Just kind of flatten it out, make it nice and small, move it up, and then let's see here. Let's rotate it so it's facing up. So if I look at my gizmo here, I see that the blue, which is the z-axis, I want to see. I envision this rotating around that blue arrow. So go to rotate z and type in 90, and it stands straight up. See, it's still a little big, so press R. Scale it down some more and press W and just kind of jam it into the rocket body. Let's go all the way in so that on the edges it's submerged into the body. Press R to go back to scale and just pull it out till you see the rocket face. There you go. Okay, so that's not really looking too much like a porthole yet. So let's go ahead and create an inset for this. So we're going to use some marquee selection techniques to speed up the selection. So if I, like, whenever there's a row here, like, so like, we can look at this and we see that there's just a pattern of triangles radiating out in a circle, right? So if we wanted to select these in a loop, Maya won't let us. For some reason, it fails to do that with triangles. But if I wanted to select around the cylinder, I can do that just by selecting one face, selecting its neighbor, and double clicking. Oh, never mind. Selected everything when I did that. But you know what? That's okay. We can use that. Since it selected everything, I'm going to rotate so I've got a side view, drag my cursor out over here, press Control, click and left drag, and let go. And that deselected every face. Okay. Never mind. If I select everything and then you know why that's doing that is because there's no support edge. So I'm going to go back to object node and I'm going to do a subdivision on the height. Now, will it let me work smarter? See if I left click marquee that. No, okay, I will actually want those selected. So left click marquee, just that. Okay, yeah. So once I've added some subdivisions and I left click marquee that, that will work. But I'm going to press 4. I'm going to go back to 6. So when I selected made that selection, the fact that my manipulator wasn't centered here in the middle of the selection told me that I'd selected other things by accident. So just because you can't see faces doesn't mean that Maya can't see faces. So when I press 4 to go to wireframe, I see that there's faces back here selected. So I'm going to press Control, left click, drag to marquee, and deselect. Press 6 to go back to shaded view, and there's my manipulator right where I expect it to be in the middle of the selection. Now I'm going to press Shift, and then selecting that little yellow cube in the middle, just like we did for the booster, pull this in, make it a little thicker to give the impression that it's a sturdy portal hole for the inhabitants. Press W, just like we did when we were doing the booster. Press Shift, grab the yellow arrow, and pull in. Don't intersect the body of the rocket. All right. There we go. And just like the boosters, let's bevel the edges and soften the normals. We'll start with beveling. Go to edge mode with your cursor over the porthole. select one edge and double click its neighbor. You'll get an edge ring. Go to the modeling toolkit, press bevel, and I will manually enter 0.3 and increase the segments to 3 as well. And then I'll do it for the other side. For the other edge, select one edge, shift select, double click. You get a whole ring around. Click bevel. I actually like how steep that is. That's good. I think I'll leave that. Add, what, 6 segments there? Okay. Go to object mode. There we go. That's a nice looking porthole. Let's go ahead and soften the normals. Mesh display. Soften edge. That looks pretty good. Alright, not terribly detailed. Actually, you know, we can do one more detail. We can grab this little vertex here and push it out. That's a small thing. Actually, let's undo that. Let's select the faces again in the center with a left click marquee. Press 4 so we can see through and got those selected. Control, left click, marquee. Get rid of those. Press 6. Now we're gonna add some more insets in there, and then we're gonna soft select and pull it out and create a nice little rounded surface. So let's hold shift, let's go to R for the scale tool. Hold shift so that when we get over the manipulator it says extrude. Pull it in, let go, holding shift still, pull it in, and keep pulling on that little yellow box. This might be too many faces, but we'll see. And don't worry, they're not regular space, so don't worry about that. Okay, press W. And now I just deselected by clicking off into space. Right click, choose vertex. Select that dot in the middle, press B to go to soft select. Click and hold B and pull your soft scale radius until it just comes into the edge of that ring where it touches the border of the porthole, and then push out. Okay, maybe we wanted a little bit more of a radius. Push out a little bit more. I guess we could change the fall off style, but I'd rather not. All right, there we go. There we go. A little bit of indentation, and we're going to need to soften normals again after that. So mesh display, soften edge, and that faceting that was there is gone. There we go. That added a nice little bit of depth and dimension, and this is now clearly a rocket and not a missile.